What if the moon was twice as close? Right now, the moon is about 384,400 kilometers away from Earth. That's roughly 30 Earth diameters stacked in a row. But let's just say, overnight, it moved to half that distance. How would that change your life? For starters, the moon would look enormous. Instead of taking up about half a degree in the sky, roughly the size of your thumbnail at arm's length, it would look twice as big across and 4 times as large in area. Imagine walking outside at night and seeing a moon that fills up a huge chunk of the sky, so bright it might even cast shadows strong enough to read by. But the most immediate change wouldn't be how it looks. It would be how it pulls. The moon is the main reason we have tides. Its gravity tugs on Earth's oceans, creating those familiar rises and falls along coastlines. If the moon were twice as close, its gravitational pull on Earth would actually be about 4 times stronger. That means tides would be 4 times higher and lower. Think of a beach where the water usually comes in by a few meters. Now, picture it racing in by more than a dozen. Entire coastal communities would have to move or learn to live on stilts. Twice a day, the sea would swallow huge stretches of land, only to retreat hours later, leaving behind stranded fish, confused tourists, and probably a booming business in waterproof furniture. And it's not just the ocean that would dance to the moon's new tune. The solid ground would too. Earth's crust is surprisingly elastic, and the moon already causes it to bulge ever so slightly. A closer moon would make those bulges more pronounced, possibly increasing volcanic and seismic activity. If you thought earthquakes were scary before, wait until the moon decides to give Earth an extra hard tug. Some regions might even experience more frequent tremors as the planet stretches and shrinks under the moon's enhanced pull. But wait, there's more. With the moon so close, we'd also see spectacular effects on the night sky. Lunar eclipses would become more common and much more dramatic, and the moon would move noticeably faster across the sky. Instead of taking about an hour to cross the width of your palm, it might take only half as long. Watching moonrise would be like watching a giant balloon inflate on the horizon and then drift upward at an almost alarming speed. Then there's the question of life itself. Many marine creatures rely on the rhythm of tides for breeding and feeding. With tides 4 times more extreme, countless ecosystems would be thrown into chaos. Whole species might vanish, while others could explode in number, adapting to the new, more dramatic ebb and flow. Meanwhile, coastal wetlands might transform into vast mudflats at low tide and deep bays at high tide, reshaping entire continents' outlines over time. But hold on. Our problems might not stop at the shore. The moon's gravitational pull helps stabilize Earth's tilt, which in turn keeps our climate relatively steady. A closer moon could wobble Earth's tilt more dramatically over time, potentially leading to wilder seasons. Summers might grow hotter, winters colder. Or Earth's tilt might shift so much that the poles melt entirely, turning the planet into a tropical water world. Or, conversely, Snowball Earth 2.0. Weather reporters would have a very hard time. And what about humans? Cities near the coastlines might have to invest in colossal seawalls or abandon certain regions altogether. Insurance companies would probably have a meltdown. Sailing and shipping would become far more dangerous, with currents supercharged by the new tides. Surfing, on the other hand, could reach insane new heights. Literally. Imagine catching a wave that's 5 stories tall, though surviving it might be a different story. Of course, there's always the poetic side. Lovers have written songs and sonnets about the moon for thousands of years. With a moon that close, how many more would be inspired by its breathtaking, oversized glow? Or would poets be too busy complaining about how you can't sleep anymore, because even at midnight, your bedroom is bright as dawn? Astronomers might be frustrated too. Such a huge, bright moon would wash out large parts of the night sky, making it harder to see distant stars and galaxies. But let's step even farther into fantasy for a moment. If the moon kept creeping closer over time, eventually we'd reach a point called the Roche limit. That's the distance where Earth's gravity would start tearing the moon apart. The moon would turn into a ring system, like Saturn's, wrapping around our planet in dazzling bands of rock and dust. Nights would be spectacular beyond imagination. You'd look up and see glowing arcs stretching across the heavens. But the trade-off might be catastrophic meteor showers, as bits of the broken moon occasionally plunge through the atmosphere. So, what if the moon was twice as close? Your beachfront property would be underwater half the time. The Earth might shake a bit more than usual, and moonlit walks would be more like strolling under a giant spotlight. Some animals would perish, others might thrive, and human civilization would be forced to adapt in wildly creative or desperate ways. But we'd also be treated to a sky show, unlike anything our ancestors could ever have dreamed. And maybe, just maybe, on those bright nights when the moon looms huge and majestic, we'd stand outside together, necks craned, eyes wide, realizing that while it brought plenty of trouble, it also gave us front row seats to the greatest show above Earth, which, all things considered, might be worth a little extra seawater in your basement.